July 9, 2025. The world of Formula One, a circus of speed, money, and brutal politics, is rocked by an announcement. It comes not from a press conference, but in a sterile, carefully worded corporate statement. Christian Horner, the man who built the Red Bull racing empire from the ground up, the longest-serving and one of the most successful team principals in the sport's history, has been dismissed. Just 2 days earlier, he was at the British Grand Prix, a familiar figure on the pit wall, a bulldog of a leader, defiant and ever-present. Now, after 20 years, 124 Grand Prix victories, 6 Constructors' Championships and 8 Drivers' titles, his reign is over. Abruptly, the official statement from Red Bull offers gratitude for his exceptional work and tireless commitment. But it conspicuously withholds the one thing everyone wants to know: why? This strategic silence creates a vacuum, and into that vacuum rushes a storm of speculation, rumor, and analysis. Because this wasn't a sudden, out-of-the-blue decision, this was a tipping point, the culmination of a multi-year crisis that had been brewing behind the polished veneer of victory champagne and championship trophies. A story of a team tearing itself apart from the inside. This is a story about the corrosive power of scandal, the shifting loyalties in a corporate dynasty, and the moment a star driver becomes more powerful than the man who built his throne. This is the anatomy of a takedown. Subscribe to the channel. Welcome to Front Lockout. Chapter 1. The Lingering Shadow. To understand how Christian Horner's position became so untenable, you have to go back to early 2024. A female employee at Red Bull made allegations of inappropriate behavior against him. The specific details were never made public, but reports painted a picture of controlling text messages and behavior and claims of sexual harassment. Horner vehemently and consistently denied the accusations from the very beginning. Red Bull, the parent company, launched an independent internal investigation. It was, they claimed, fair, rigorous, and impartial. In February 2024, the verdict came back. Christian Horner was cleared of any wrongdoing. An appeal by the complainant was also dismissed. Case closed. Or so it seemed, because legal exoneration does not automatically equate to a restoration of trust. On the eve of the 2024 F1 season, just as the team was preparing to launch another title defense, an anonymous email was sent to around 100 of the most influential figures in Formula One, journalists, team principals, and FIA officials. The email contained a link to a file of alleged WhatsApp chats and photographs related to the case. The authenticity of the leaks was never verified. But it didn't matter. The damage was done. The scandal, which Horner had tried to manage privately, was now public domain. It ripped through the paddock, ensuring the controversy remained a dominant, suffocating narrative. It overshadowed team events, soured victories, and created a persistent, ugly cloud over the Red Bull garage. The allegations deepened the rifts that already existed within the team, fostering an environment of mistrust and paranoia. Key partners, like Ford, Red Bull's engine supplier for 2026, reportedly expressed their displeasure. The scandal demonstrated a critical truth of modern corporate life. The perception of wrongdoing, amplified by leaks and social media, can be just as damaging as proven guilt. Even though he was formally cleared, the lingering reputational damage made Christian Horner vulnerable. The scandal had weakened him, and his enemies inside the Red Bull empire were about to make their move. Chapter 2. The War for the Kingdom. The silent, tectonic plates of power within Red Bull began to shift in October 2022. That was the month the company's visionary co-founder, Dietrich Mateschitz, died. His passing removed a crucial source of Christian's authority and unleashed what the report calls an unseemly power struggle. The ownership of Red Bull is a complex, transatlantic affair. 49% is controlled by the Mateschitz family, now represented by Dietrich's son, Mark. This is the Austrian side of the company. The controlling 51% is held by the Thai Uvidya family, led by Chalem Uvidya. Initially, Horner was shielded by the Thais. Chalem Uvidya's support was instrumental in protecting Horner's position, especially during the height of the misconduct allegations. But that vital support, according to sources, eventually has gone away. With his Thai shield gone, Horner was exposed. The Austrian faction, led by Mark Mateschitz, was reportedly looking to make a change, and they were not alone. They had aligned themselves with two of the most powerful figures in the paddock: Red Bull's long-standing motorsport advisor, the formidable Helmut Marko, and a man who held the team's future in his hands, Max Vstappen. The erosion of Uvidya's backing was the critical turning point. It transformed internal disagreements into a full-blown civil war. This wasn't just the loss of an ally, it was a fundamental change in the political landscape of the company. It demonstrates a harsh reality of privately owned, family-controlled corporations. Professional achievements and formal clearances mean little when your core ownership support crumbles. Christian Horner, the architect of a dynasty, was now politically isolated and fighting for his survival. Chapter 3. The Shield of Success Cracks. For years, Christian Horner had one ultimate defense, one impenetrable shield against any internal dissent: winning. As long as Red Bull was dominating on the track, any underlying issues could be ignored, or at least deferred. And the dominance was absolute. In 2023, Red Bull produced one of the most successful seasons in F1 history, winning 21 out of 22 races. Max Verstappen was untouchable. But in high-performance sports, success is fleeting, and in 2025 the shield cracked. The team experienced a significant dip this season. After years at the top, Red Bull currently stands fourth in the Constructors' Championship, trailing rivals like McLaren and Ferrari. They've managed only 2 race wins. Max Verstappen, while still third in the drivers' standings, has openly expressed his frustration with the car's limitations. The RB21 has been described as difficult to handle, with a narrow operating window. His teammate Sergio Perez saw his performance collapse, leading to his contract being terminated mid-season. His replacements, Liam Lawson and then Yuki Tsunoda, struggled to consistently deliver points. The decline in performance was catastrophic for Horner. When the competitive edge dulled, the focus shifted sharply from the trophy cabinet to accountability. The existing fault lines within the organization, which had been papered over by victory, were now exposed and gaping. A downturn in performance didn't just create problems, it amplified every other crisis, stripping Horner of his primary defense and leaving him with nowhere to hide. Chapter 4. The Vstappen Factor. In Formula One, a star driver is more than an employee, they are the team's most valuable asset. And, in 2025, the future of Red Bull's generational talent, Max Verstappen, became the ultimate leverage in the war against Christian Horner. Vstappen, the reigning world champion, began showing a reluctance to commit beyond 2025, fueling intense speculation of a bombshell move to rival Mercedes. But the pressure was far more direct than that. Max's father, Jos Vstappen, a former F1 driver himself and a notoriously fierce and influential figure, became Christian's most vocal public critic. In March 2024, he dropped a bombshell interview stating unequivocally that the team is in danger of being torn apart and that it will explode if Christian remained. This wasn't just a disgruntled parent. Jos Verstappen's public crusade was strategically aligned with the Austrian faction of Red Bull's ownership, with Mateschitz and Helmut Marko. This alliance transformed a family opinion into a corporate dagger aimed at the team principal's heart. Max Verstappen's unparalleled talent and immense market value gave this threat existential weight. For the Red Bull ownership, already navigating a bitter internal power struggle, the choice likely became brutally simple: risk losing the greatest driver of his generation or remove the team principal. This Vstappen factor was likely the decisive catalyst. The dismissal of Christian Horner can be seen as a strategic gambit to appease their star driver and stabilize the team around its most important asset. Tellingly, Verstappen's manager confirmed they were informed of the decision in advance and stated that nothing will change for them regarding Max's commitment. Chapter 5. The Brain Drain. This dismissal wasn't an isolated event. It happened against the backdrop of a significant brain drain, a steady exodus of high-profile talent that signaled a deep loss of faith in the team's leadership and future. The most seismic departure was that of legendary car designer Adrian Newey, who resigned in 2024 to join a rival team. Newey was the genius behind Red Bull's championship-winning cars, the other half of one of the most successful partnerships in F1 history. His exit was a devastating blow, both technically and as a symbol of the internal rot. But he wasn't the only one. Sporting director Jonathan Wheatley, a key operational figure, resigned after the 2024 season. Head of race strategy, Will Courtenay, left after 14 years. Chief Engineering Officer Rob Marshall also departed. These aren't just names on a list. They represent decades of institutional knowledge, technical expertise, and operational stability walking out the door. The exodus of such senior, long-serving figures pointed to a systemic problem that the boss was unable to contain. It was a vote of no confidence from the very people who had built the empire alongside him, further eroding his authority and making his position increasingly precarious, especially as the on-track results began to suffer. In the end, it was a death by 1,000 cuts. A confluence of crises where each problem amplified the others. The misconduct allegations created a vulnerability. The death of Dietrich Mateschitz ignited a power struggle that stripped Horner of his political protection. The decline in performance removed the shield of success. And the pressure from the Vstappen camp presented an ultimatum that the owners couldn't ignore.